Welcome all. It's a very intimate setting here today, and it's our chance to get really close to our makers, Sabrina and Carolien. My name is Marijke Koppenhagen. I'm responsible for the artistic lead here at the Grey Space. And for those who did not attend the kickoff last week, I'll give a little bit of context on Perpetual Beta as an exhibition. So Perpetual Beta is an exhibition with a concept that's different. We started with the questions, just only questions of 3 maker collectives. We will expose the process and we will have the work grow over time. And also we invite you, the audience, and also the ones out there, I'm pointing at the camera, to contribute to the process. And we also specifically design a way for you to contribute, and also not just us as a space, but also the makers. So that's where we are at right now, maker event number 1. It will evolve completely around the work of Carolien and Sabrina. So I will introduce you to Carolien Teunisse and Sabrina Verhage, who especially for the occasion of Perpetual Beta teamed up to work together because they share a desire to, with their work, enable social change. And they combine this with a curiosity towards emerging technology and a set of advanced coding skills. So I'll give the floor to you for now to introduce the project a bit more, and also tell us a bit about the project, the process, and also about the specific assignment that you have to the public today.
Ja,
Complete. Ja. Oké.
moet je er helemaal in inpluggen en dan ga ik nu. So, yeah, well, me and Carolien have known each other now for, actually, I don't know how long.
I think 6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have done some projects together, but we're also really excited to be doing another project together, finally. Super cool opportunity. Yes. Okay. So, this particular project has been inspired kind of by the lockdown. So, like, as we all were locked down and inside our houses, there was this sort of feeling of everything outside was magical again, like undiscovered nature. It was always there, of course, but all of a sudden it felt new and special. And I built up this like weird fascination for lichen, or in Dutch we say korstmossen, for if you don't know that word. I just thought like, wow, they're actually really cool and beautiful. And they're like in the strangest corners, like they're like in dirty places in the street, you know? So that kind of drove the idea for the project that we are now starting working on. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, so we were thinking how to make people aware of these beautiful little creatures and organisms. And also having in mind that maybe we weren't able to have this exhibition here together, and so we brought it outside and brought the outside inside the exhibition. What we are going to do now is go on a walk, on a tour. And in the store, if you discover one of these lichens, a lichen is a symbiosis of several organisms, like algae and fungi. And they can have different kinds of looks. You can look on the streets, like on the pavements, or on the trees. You can find them a lot. And Sabrina and I developed a website that you can augment these lichens. So when you scan a lichen, then the picture is sent to us. We will augment it, and you can make an art piece out of a lichen.
Yeah, so that's not working yet because this is perpetual beta. So we are making that. But basically, so the idea is there will be a database of like all the lichen around the gray space here in The Hague, and eventually they will become augmented reality artwork. So you can walk around the space outside and like scan them with your phone and see the artwork outside everywhere in the city. But to build up the database, we need people to find lichen, which is kind of you're basically now activated to go outside and find these lichen. And maybe we turn on the webcam, or maybe first the QR code. Well, no, we'll leave it
first the
later.
webcam.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a website, and we will have a QR code there, so you don't have to like type it out. And I'm just going to show you what how it sort of works, the website, just so that you won't have questions later on. So you press Get Started. There's a beautiful story about our project that you can read or just scroll through to the bottom and press Continue. And then you'll see a map of where we are now. And if you say track my location, approve track my location, it will automatically put you there. Else it will also put you here because this is the gallery space, this is the main location. And then you see some of these markers already being placed here in The Hague. These are some markers that me and Carolien already put there to test. And these are not active. So it sort of means that these markers it means that me and Carolien haven't made art yet on these markers. So they are tagged, but they don't have artwork yet. But to show what it would look like if it becomes active, that would be sort of that you see the little tiny picture of the lichen as a marker. And then when you press on it, you will see the description of the marker and a picture of the lichen here in The Hague. And now how you guys can help us is by pressing the button Add New Lichen. And when you do that, Slack messages. You will get this little story dragged across to the location of your lichen. So imagine we're standing here at the gray space, which is this building. I don't know if y'all are good with maps. It just works with like pinch zoom like any other map. And say like outside here, the tree, we want to mark a lichen there. I have to like, then we drag the icon to the tree, and then we say confirm. And then you have to describe where you found it in like normal language. It can also be Dutch or English, whatever you prefer. We don't have a rule for that. Tree outside the gray space. And then we want to have pictures of the location. So you can actually press the button to choose a file and then make a picture, which I'm not doing right now, but I'm just showing the demo. And so as soon as you've done it and you press Add Lichen here at the bottom, then it's in our database. And then we can use it to make art. We will share the link so that when we go outside on this tour, we also have access to this link. And I think that is enough of an introduction. Yeah. Wait, she's working on it.
Say a few more words. I was really fascinated by it. So the lichen, it's an organism and a feature.
Yeah, exactly. I have a slide for this too. Present.
Yeah, you can also, I don't know if you want to go into it now or maybe later.
Yeah, we can
Real
do it
short.
later.
Okay.
Yeah, but in short, it's a symbiosis. So different organisms living together as a single one, and they help each other survive.
Yeah.
If I said it correctly, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a professional. All right, I'll show you just the QR code. Then you can already look up the website, or you can type in unnaturalargumentations.com.
Also, you have to add the www. That was too many W's. But you have to, at the moment, you have to add the www, else it's a dead link. Or use the QR code. Oh, and if you are Android and Firefox, apparently it doesn't work. So then you have to use Chrome. But this is only specifically Android and Firefox.
Okay. Yeah? Everybody has it?
Yes?
Good. Shall I introduce our guest?
Yes.
I'll leave this here for now, for a little bit. So everybody has to.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah?
Whatever. So I'm super happy to introduce Victor van Pieterson. He's a gardener. And he, I don't know if I can use the word obsessive, but I think you, yeah, I may, okay. He obsessively collected plants in the surroundings where he lives, the Schilderswijk in The Hague. And he made a huge herbarium and also published this book that actually makes a connection between what grows in the Haagse Schilderswijk and also what kind of people, or where de etnische samenstelling moet ik zeggen in het Engels, of the people that live there. He knows a lot about plants, and he's actually the one that's going to take us on a tour. I have no idea what precisely he's going to do during the tour, but he knows. And yeah, you will tell a bit for an introduction.
I'll give a short introduction about
Wonderful.
my work.
Great. Then I'll give the floor to you.
Een moment hoor. Doet hij het nou weer niet? Ah. Now, I'll continue in English as well. I'm Victor, and I live in the Schilderswijk. It's a small neighborhood, about 1.2 square kilometers in just a little bit over there in The Hague. And it's a very ethnic diverse neighborhood. And that's very interesting for urban, it became very interesting for urban botanists. Because before we started looking into these ethnic diverse neighborhoods, we only looked at harbors and, for example, industrial areas where a lot of trucks come in. Because those areas were a lot of new plant species were introduced into the Netherlands. So on this picture you can see this a little part of my herbarium. I collected all the plants that I found, and I dried them, and I cataloged them, and I wrote up which plant it was and where I found it. And as of yet, I have over 460 different species of plants in my herbarium that I found in the Schilderswijk, of which there are about 5 species that were never found in Holland before. So that's very surprising. And that meant that I collected a group of other urban botanists, and we started looking into these ethnic diverse neighborhoods, looking at them more closely, and seeing if they were as diverse as other as the Schilderswijk, for example. And we found that a lot of plants that we encountered had some kind of connection to the ethnic people that were living there. So the people from Turkey, for example. I'll skip a little bit through this presentation because it's... Oh no. For example, we found a lot of kitchen fledglings that are plants that are used in the kitchen. But normally you have parsley and celery and stuff like that. But we also found some plants that are a little bit more awkward, a little bit less common. For example, this is black cumin. And black cumin, I don't know if you have ever eaten Turkish bread, but the little black seeds on the Turkish bread, those are black cumin. So we encountered a lot of these black cumin plants around Turkish bakeries, for example. Another example of a kitchen fledgling, which took us a long time to it's going too fast. Find out what it was, is Iowan, and it's a herb from northern India. And it took us about 1.5 years to find out which plant it was, because nobody had a flora of northern India, so it was very hard to find out. And now I have several kitchen books in my plant section at home to find out if I find another plant. Sometimes it can help to just scroll through the cookbooks and kitchen books to find what plant it was. But this actually took us 1.5 years to find out what it was. So I was very happy when we did. I'll skip a little bit further on. Another very interesting way of plants traveling and encountering, coming into neighborhoods who are ethnic diverse is religion. And it's a little bit a surprising way of plants coming into a neighborhood. But we found out that in neighborhoods with a high concentration of Hindus, you have a lot of plants like marigold and African marigold. And they cultivate them as well. And we asked them, why are you cultivating these marigolds and African marigolds? And they told us that they use them in their offerings. So they grow their own plants to offer flowers to their gods. But those plants they plant in their gardens and in front of their houses. They also escape. So we find them all over the neighborhood now, with a very big concentration in the neighborhoods where you have a lot of Hindus living. Well, garden fledglings, I'm going to skip this one. There are a lot of plants that are in our gardens that escape from time to time, and we find them as well in the city. But that's not really something that is connected to the ethnic people who are living there. Why won't he go on? And there's another thing that's you have a lot of fashions lately, like vegetable gardens, but also there's a big craze about honeybees, and those are all plants that we also find a lot in the city, especially the honeybee plants are very prolific. And we found that most of the plants that are for honeybees are more in the areas where the original Dutch people live. So they are much more concerned with that aspect of nature than the rest of... I'll have to skip a little bit onto the... that aspect of nature. This is actually an interesting plant. This is one of the plants that I found that is new for Holland. the African amaranth. It's actually not from Africa, but botanists are very bad at seeing color and also very bad at geography. But it's actually a plant from South America, and it's a wool adventive, and that means that it came here in sheep's hide. So the sheep were the wool was important, and the wool was not washed yet, and that's a very interesting way as well for plants to get actually all over the world. Mediterranean hairgrass is very prolific now in The Hague. It's a very rare plant actually in Holland, but it's also a wool adventive. Wheel arches stowaways is also a very nice way for plants of traveling, and that's also something that is connected to the more ethnic people in the neighborhood, and that's because they have quite large families which are spread all over Europe. And for example, in Ramadan, you can see in the Schilderswijk that there are people with cars from all over Europe coming into the neighborhood and then going to visit their families. And that takes a lot of plants. They take a lot of plants in the mud in their wheel casings with them. For example, you can see this is Serrastium dugetonum. This is also the first one we found in Holland, actually, this plant. And this is another Serrastium that I put this picture in because it illustrates very well how plants can travel in wheel arches, and if you leave your car for a long time, it can also germinate and grow. So this little pot flex is also an example of a plant that travels through wheel arches. This is also one of the first examples that were found in Holland. It's all found in the Schilderswijk, all in the 1.2 square kilometers. And well, so it's very interesting to look at those ethnic diverse neighborhoods. And I would want to invite you now to come outside with me because it's lovely weather, and to see what we can find outside if there's something interesting growing in between the cracks and crannies in the streets around the grey space. So.
Great. Thank you. So, are you all joining for the walk? Yeah? All right. Great transformation.
Yes. En hij zit er.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much, Victor, for your wonderful tour. Yeah, I thought it was really surprising to see a lot of stories behind these things you look over normally. And if you're interested, he has a wonderful book. You can maybe afterwards look through it or even buy it. It's really nice to have an overview of all these beautiful plants living in the city. And this is in this area, right?
Yeah, it's all
Yeah, super nice. Yeah, it really relates to our project very well, because we look also to things that people overlook normally. We thought it's nice to have a little bit of background of us to show. Sabrina and I know each other from media technology. Having the tick again. I don't know what it is. Maybe. Okay. Cool. And yeah, there we collaborated on some projects, and yeah, we liked to work together. We discovered, and here's one video of a project we did together. It's called Space Labs.
It's an old one.
Old one.
You're gonna explain it?
Maybe afterwards, or
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Okay, pretty weird video maybe, but what you see is an experience you can see in the Oculus Rift. This is a VR virtual reality technology, and you can look around you, and then when you turn on your chair, you go back in time. So a camera is making photographs all the time above your head, and making a time lapse. 360 degrees. Really nice bird. Thanks. And yeah, you can look around you, and then you see the 360 degrees. But when you turn your chair, you go back in time. And this is yeah, where we found each other. This mix between reality and virtual reality, where it comes together. Yeah, we found it really interesting to that you can experience another dimension with this technology, and in this experience you can discover time or experience time in a different way. So you saw the exhibition build up, and then the exhibition running, and the exhibition build down again.
Right. Yeah, we captured the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to say anything about it?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, something. Okay. So yeah, augmented reality, that is what we're working with now. And also we like to work with yeah, natural algorithms, or algorithms that mimic nature. And with this we ask the question, how can we use technology to gain a deeper understanding or appreciation for the natural world? It's two times and its natural processes. Yeah, because why? This is so important, is that this is the only planet we have, and we have to care for it. And yeah, to have more appreciation for nature, then we can care better for our planet. And yeah, this helps making choices every day. Yeah. And to use augmented reality with this is really convenient, because it can yeah, make your experience of reality new and different. And this is where the pixels and the atoms come together. And with the pixels, you are very fluent, or you are they can change very quickly, while the atoms are more robust, or more not changing. And that is why it is really good to use lichen, because they also not change that much. They grow very slowly, and yeah, if we would do this with plants, you only can use it seasonal, or it will change every time. And yeah, lichen grow really slowly, and that's why we can use them really nicely for this project, because they are there all year long. Okay. Another project I did in the station of Delft, where we used data from the city of Delft. They make available, and then we visualized it in the train station. And here we used a projection mapping. This is the same technique that we use also in the exhibition. When you go through the black door, there are lichens that are augmented with digital augmentations, and the same technique as this. And what we also would like to explore is, maybe I can turn down the sound. What we like to explore is to use the data from the air quality of The Hague to affect the generative visuals. Like in this work, that makes it more, that it reacts to its environment, what lichens also do. Let's see what's next.
My slide. No, Carolien said maybe you want to have a slide to introduce yourself. I don't know if you guys know this meme. No, it's my favorite. This is the slide to introduce myself. Anyway, yeah, so you haven't really introduced yourself. Like, what do you do? What do you do?
Yes, I'm Carolien, and I work as a digital artist and work with projection mapping and augmented reality a lot. I also teach at the HU, Hogeschool Utrecht, interaction design. And I also work there with electronics and programming them.
And then we are both quite active in community initiatives. So as far as I know, Carolien, Fiber is part of Fiber and Creative Coding Utrecht.
Yeah.
And then I am also the founder of a meetup called Creative Coding Amsterdam. I'm a technologist, sort of, I guess, / artist. So I work for an experience design company as a technologist. And I really like exploring cool things to do with technology, basically. And mostly they have to be, for me, to enjoy them. Sort of like this magical feeling of using technology in a almost cheeky way that you're like, wow, that's actually really cool. I didn't realize something. And that can then basically be anything. And in this case, I want to create that effect with lichen. And another project then that I thought that I'd show is it's actually like this interactive sandbox, which is quite common. I don't know, it's not a movie, unfortunately. I don't know if any of you ever seen it, but it's basically just a normal sandbox, and then you do projection mapping over it, which is this sort of like magical layer of interaction. And then when you move the sand, the projection moves with it. And here, we actually installed it at MU in Eindhoven. And Angelique said, how can we make this even cooler? What if we fill the entire space with sand? So we were like, okay. So we basically filled the entire gallery space with sand, and then we did the interactive sand projection mapping on the floor. And this project was interesting from a different angle, from a tech angle, that we were using machine learning actually. So the maps that are projected on the sand are actually maps that are generated by a machine learning algorithm. That might sound weird, but basically we showed a machine learning algorithm, like an AI, we showed it like lots and lots of pictures of our Earth, and now it sort of generates it on its own. So it's like an unexisting map that it creates based on the sand. Well, also projection and sort of a different reality, augmenting reality, like augmenting lichen. Yeah. Okay, then we continue, I think, about the project. And basically where we hope this will end. Mm-hmm. Do you want to say something about this?
Not really. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's interesting, right? Because like we're doing this Perpetual beta project with the gray space, and basically means that we are sort of starting with nothing. At the end of the month, we're supposed to have everything. And in between, we are sort of searching for, okay, how we're going to make this. So now we have a tool, basically, to find lichen. And as you saw the webpage, to create the database. And then the next steps would be for us to make art on the lichen. And so Carolien, with her experience in making more augmented and virtual reality stuff, and me, I guess the same, like mixed reality skills. The idea is that all of the lichen that we found today, you can experience them with a sort of augmented reality not necessarily 3D, but like artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is the goal that we're working towards.
Yeah. I think you are all in the tour, but it starts with a lichen, then you scan it, an artwork comes on top, and then you can explore the city and then push on a lichen, and then you can see the augmentation on top of it. So it's both that it's produced by the visitors, and it's a collaboration between the visitors and us and the lichen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of information about lichen. What are they? You have three kind of growing ways how they can grow. The Christos folios, So one is mostly on rocks, and they are really like stug, hard. You found them on the bridge and on stone pavement. Also really tiny, the spots. They're really like korst. And in Dutch it's korstmos, but it's not a moss. Like mosses are alive, are little plants, and these are also alive, but are not plants. They are algae and fungi. So that's a difference. And I wonder if they also produce oxygen. Not sure. Do you know that?
In the last picture, it's still on the green hairy stuff. That's the question. The lichen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
We have one here.
Yep. So we have found some examples and put them on display, and then when it's ready, you can scan them, and they will have the augmentation on them. Possibly we will also look at the way they grow, and then base our animation style on that.
Right. Yeah. Like we are inspired by these lichen, right? So we also want the art that we create to be inspired by the lichen that we find. So that's why we're trying to sort of study what they are and how they grow and the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
And where to find them, which I learned today is usually by humid places, in humid environments, or on trees.
Mm-hmm. We also have a microscope that we can use, and then you have to slice a little bit off to see how what it consists of. We haven't sliced it yet, but you can see a little bit already, a more closer look. And then you see it like it's really another world, like it's really another little ecosystem on itself. And that's really interesting. That, from a distance it's just like a spot, but when you look closely, it's like a little world on its own. And this is also what we want to do with our animations, that it's really a unique and new world.
Yeah, and then supposedly, I mean, I'm not an expert, I'm trying to become an expert, but the way it works is that, so it's a symbiosis with algae and fungi, and the algae are the ones that take up the sun and turn the sunlight into sugars, and fungi, they want the sugars. So the fungi, I would say it's almost like the fungi, they create a little it's almost like they're having them like stock or something, like feed. Yeah, that's how you say thing, feed. It's almost like they're keeping them to feed them, you know. So they're making like this beautiful structure with their fungi arms to hold all these algae in, so that it can feed them with sugar. So it's really all the strings you see in this image, for instance, would be the fungi, and the more circular things would be the algae. And so that's how they collaborate together in all these different structures.
Yeah, and how they spread is through spores.
Yeah,
They,
the fungi, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, we watched a lecture on this, so this is why I sort of know this information. But supposedly there's like, was it many types of fungi? No, there's only a couple types of fungi and many types of algae, or the other way around. See, I'm not saying this right. I should just shut up.
I think, yes, different kinds of fungi in one with one algae. That's
Right.
possible.
Yeah, so there's like, they have a combination. That's why their unique shapes come from. Like between the combination of the two, finding each other and then creating these unique shapes.
Yeah, and ideally we will note the names and what the algae or fungi is, and then put them also in the app so people can also learn what they are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pictures.
it's an example. We have also pictures hanging in the gallery space that will also be augmented, so that you can not only look outside but also look in the gallery space to the pieces or the pictures. Some examples.
These are all ones you found, right?
Except for this one, not that's on the internet, because I haven't found that one yet. And maybe I can show you a little bit of the.
Yeah, so these are like
How
our
the-
first tests, basically. Like we started doing it and we're like, okay, now what can it look like? We know that, for instance, we want to keep the lichen visible and not just cover it with a 3D model, and then you're like, oh, it's art. Like the lichen is really cool, so it has to be like a work that lives next to it.
Yep, like a frame or
And so we thought maybe we can just sort of like share with you our sort of work in progress at the moment, which is like we're only 1 week in, not even really, a couple of days. Oh, yeah. And then I can also show here the most ugly prototype of a working version. So later, if you like come here to my laptop, and then you scan this QR code, you go to a website, and then if you scan this lichen, you will see like a 3D animation. This is a prototype, yeah? Don't judge us.
We'd like to show how the animation part is a little bit made. This is using Touch Designer. It's a visual programming language. I don't know if you can call it a language, but a program. And it's made of a network of nodes, and it starts with a picture. So this is a picture we could get from a visitor or someone looking for a lichen or found a lichen. So we get the picture, it comes in here, and let's see. Then there's a little vignette going on, and here it's traced into a 3D object. So let's see. It traces this image into this, and with this we can make an animation with it. So there's some animation going on here, some math calculations, and it sends these calculations into geometry, and here you see this happening. The geometry is made out of lines. Here is a line going.
Tiny line.
A little lines, and we use a lot of noise algorithms, because that you see a lot of nature too. These are also inspired by nature, the noise algorithms. So the line is moving by the noise, and then it feeds into this geometry, and then it becomes a three-dimensional object. Well, here you see it rendered. So this geometry is actually fed by these calculations, and that's why how it makes it move. And it has exactly the shape of the lichen. and that we can see here in the end result. Yeah, but not finished yet, but this is where we start.
And it moves because of noise, did you just say that?
Yes.
At the moment, yeah. Obviously we can, like we said, we wanted to experiment to try to put data in it of like maybe the air quality or, yeah.
Precisely, yeah.
So this is kind of just random, but yeah.
Yeah.
Does it convert the image and 3D printing by itself, or is that done by you?
Yeah, by this trace node here.
So you do it like all by hand and in the program?
No, it's just an algorithm that does it.
So this is just like automatically finding the edges of the shape, like that's the example she's showing now, yeah. So that's what she's using.
It looks like this picture, and then yeah, when you can choose like, do you want to see everything or which color? In the end, it's just like a little bit, and then it will change here that it only sees it on a small spot. Yeah.
And then like then this is sort of the pre-work, the artist work, and then to actually show it in the browser on your phone, we need to port it to JavaScript and make it work on our phone, which is basically this demo here that we can try. But maybe, yeah, do we have more to add? I think maybe we should just end. Did you want to add more to
No.
end this sort of like us talking, and then we make it more interactive, where you can try out this prototype and walk to our projection mapping. Maybe you've seen it already in the corner.
Okay. Any questions maybe?
Yeah.
Oh yes, questions.
I was wondering, if I may, how do the lichen spread? Because I guess it's not so easy as this seed going somewhere, because you need this different species of organisms. So how do you know how this works?
Yeah, spores like.
But that's only one part, right?
Well, so like if you look at the groot eierduiemels, the weird yellow ones, they have like these little cups. Those are basically the fruiting bodies of the fungi. So as how I understand it, that's like where they spread the spores from, like how like an average like champignon also has spores, yeah.
They still have to meet the other part.
The trick is that the algae can survive without the fungi, and the fungi cannot survive without the algae. So the algae, they're already in the environment, and the spores of the fungi, they find the algae, and then they create the symbiosis.
Cool, thanks for that information. I mean, we are not experts, yeah, but we are learning.
I wanted to ask about the choice of the augmentation.
Yeah.
Technique is great, but then there's like infinite possibilities. So what you want to do with it, also in terms of color, you know. So do you have like a criteria where it tells you which species you doing, which way you use extra information, or is it like something aesthetical?
Yeah. I would almost say ask us again in a week. But totally, yeah. We like this is definitely something that we were like, whoa, like what are we gonna do? And also, how we imagine it is that part of our project is that we keep the augmentation we make like in time, right? So say you add the lichen today, and we make an augmentation for this lichen. It has that style that it has. But a week from now, if you add a new lichen, it will have a different style, because we are sort of like, during Perpetual Beta, we're like developing, okay, what do we care about? Why do we make these decisions? So the whole collection is basically a work in progress, in a way, yeah. The whole collection is our monster of work.
Also, the idea is that on the projection mapping on the branches, there will be like a slider that you can go through the evaluation or evolve.
Yeah.
Evaluation?
No, yeah, evolve.
Okay.
Evolution?
Evolution. evolution of the augmentation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry.
Go.
I know a little bit about JavaScript. How are you? I'm not asking how you do it in JavaScript, but is the animation in browser, is that also, let's say, interactive, or is it more like playing this one?
We also don't know yet. But yeah, we want it to be everything. Yeah.
Yeah, for starters, there's a movie, just playing movie, and maybe it will be interactive, maybe it will be 3D.
Like if you ask us what we thought like a couple of months ago, that we were imagining it to be like super interactive and anything's possible, you know. But we're trying. Yeah, on the phone. Yeah, there's definitely a restriction. Yeah.
Maybe you want to tell something about the technology behind it, or?
Well, yeah, like Jan already said before when we were chatting, but I had to make, this is like really boring web development stuff, but this are the map that we showed before. It's like a back-end system because we have to store all the pictures that you send to us and store the database of like the number, the location, the GPS coordinates, etc. And then we're going to add to it what type of lichen it is by our knowledge. We hope to maybe consult an expert in the process. And so then to make the augmented reality work in the browser, that's sort of a tricky one that has not been done a lot. Like it has been done more with apps on your phone, but this is in the browser, like you're in the website. So if you're interested in that, it's not working yet, but the prototype is. But it looks like we're using ar.js, which is a JavaScript library for augmented reality. Any more questions? No? Okay.
So you want to walk over there?
Yeah, well, I guess I just want to, this is something you have to do on your own phone, right, if you want to see this. So I can show it on my phone, but it's going to be this tiny screen, so it might be more sense to do it on your own phone. And I was hoping for now to have this image be one of the prints that's hanging, but I was too late with doing that. Shame on me. But it works with this picture of the tree in Amsterdam instead.
Okay, so we're going to try that. Maybe we can break up the sort of central session like this.
Exactly, and just
then all browse
mingle,
around,
have a drink,
talk.
and ask us any questions that you like.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
We will